cause y'all know what it is.
TNN Trap Movie Network.
I was with Rich Trapper.
Networx with you.
Warning, this video is for satire, educational, and comedy use only. It is not intended to be actual fact, nor is it intended to give real meaning to any of the questions you ponder about late.
So we finna slide into the Young and Hefe Chronicles, as he and the guy Shooter kind of been having a back and forth on Instagram, YouTube, or all these social media sites at this point. And now you have Munchie B tapping in with his dissertation and Young and Hefe responding to said dissertation. Let's get into it.
Munchie B, Inglewood Mayor. What's the good old deal, man? So yesterday, man, while I was doing content and stuff, and had my folks going down YouTube, Munchie B segment popped up, an algorithm or whatnot, and so Munchie B, titled his segment like something along the lines of at Hefe's a buster, or at Hefe doing buster activities or something like that. So when they read the title to me, ears pricked up. I'm like, okay.
But I don't think that Munchie B was, I didn't watch the video yet, but from what I was told, he wasn't actually disrespecting Ant. I think it was more of a clickbait title, and he was just kind of giving his opinions on the situation between Ant and Shooter. But I don't think that, again, I haven't watched it, but from what I was told, even in giving his opinions, he didn't say anything disrespectful.
Okay. So, at first I was like, they're like, oh, no, he reacted to something. And then it was, oh, no, this is him. So, without me telling them to click on to the content was clicked on to, and you hear Munchie B, saying, the West LA gangsters, the Avalon gangsters, the A-Trade gangsters and stuff like that. Going along the lines of, just setting a narrative that, these are all the gangster sets, that vibe with each other, whatever the case may be, and in this environment, supposed to have each other's back or whatnot. So from there,
Okay, so Munchie B is still spewing his neighborhood Crip prejudice. Got it.
Munchie B, yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, Shooter is from Avalon Gangsta Crip, 53rd Street, if I am understanding correctly, whereas Young and Hefe is from 83rd Street Gangsta Crip, A-Trey Gangsta Crip, as it's more commonly referenced to in the Los Angeles area. And they have a common enemy of the rolling neighborhood Crips, anything associated with a few of other communities that have, aligned themselves with the neighborhood Crips or the rolling Crips to be enemies with, I guess, said groups that Young and Hefe and Shooter are tied to. With that all being said, Shooter has had an issue where the situation where he has going on in jail has led to his constituents turning their backs on him. Young and Hefe being the most vocal from the jail, not because of anything else outside of his pre-existing fame to jail by way of the YouTube platform. Munchie B's community, although they be Bloods, are aligned with the communities that Young and Hefe and Shooter align themselves with when it comes to the distaste for the rolling Crips and or neighborhood Crips and the constituents of those faculties, those facilities, and those fraternities. With that being said, we'll take it back to Young and Hefe, who is talking about Munchie B, who probably didn't have the best taste in his mouth after Shooter was put on blast after allegedly being accosted by members of the Rolling 40s, group of the Rolling Crips, neighborhood Crips, the 40s specifically, again, which is opposing factor of Munchie B's fraternity, the Inglewood families. But let's continue on.
Should have helped, in my opinion, basically what I said, he's a buster, So when I'm hearing this, I'm like, okay, so this is how much he feel. And he was even clever to say, yeah, that's why we got into it, something, I never was like this. And then, he rounded it off with, nah, I'm just playing. He got to his content. So with that being said, shout out to Munchie B as well, right? That was real clever, I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of listening to it at first, and I'm kind of confused, like, okay.
Well, no, Munchie B's doing what he has to do to get the engagement and get the watch hours and get the people listening, and then he goes into how he really feels. That was a very clever strategy.
Right. man, you know, wow.
And that's kind of what I just be saying. Like, people like, oh, you don't like Munchie B. I don't care, right or left, you know what I'm saying, about pretty much anybody in this content space and like or not like them. There's only a few people, you know, who I don't like. I'm very boisterous about who I don't like. But I like to see Munchie B doing things like clever content creation, creating different ways to engage and keep his audience, you know, on top of what he has going on as he's learning to understand his audience better and present the information in a way that he feels and shows that is able to retain viewership. Now, when it comes to that type of stuff, I have no issue with or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with whatever. It's the back and forth with like Braze, who's in jail for the rest of his life, unfortunately, that I just be like, why are we talking about this? This is dumb. This is stupid. And, you know, that's it. I always give credit where credit is due. As him having the angle of probably one of the best, you know, advantages in our YouTube space, being the blind blood, whose community has respect for him. I think that that's something that should be capitalized, and I continue to say this over and over. That's something that should be capitalized and used for monetary growth, because that right there is something that's a niche that's in our space that nobody else can fill but you. So, you know what I'm saying, instead of arguing with Braze, do more creative stuff like this, because you got Young and Hefe kind of looking like, damn, bro, that's how we doing it, and they listen like, nah, he just trying to get the people to engage. I like it. Let's keep going.
I was confused. I'm not gonna say I was confused, because me and Munchie is straight, you know what I'm saying? They've been knowing each other, whatever the case may be. I don't have anything to do with that, because, you know, I can have a different opinion, or, you know, it's people I'm straight with, just like even in this shooter situation. As much as, you know, he plays his internet role with this other guy, and, you know, can he save my life and all that stuff, you know, I never gave him any flack for that, because I understand, you know, with some guys, it's just, you know, they're chasing, you know, celebrity status and or chasing fame. You know, dudes want to be famous or whatnot, you feel me? And I've heard this dude come out his own mouth and say, him being incarcerated and reading the 50 Cent book, and, you know, 50 Cent was like, basically, if you can't beat him, join him, and like all this type of stuff. You know, he's taking, you know, ideas, you know, from other successful men, you know, and hoping it works for him or whatnot, you know. So, you know, I just let these dudes, you know, play the characters they want to be and do what they want to do, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, every action has a reaction, and man, if you set that stage on some gangster stuff, you're gonna have your chance, you know, to be a gangster. You just have to partake in those actions and, you know, stand tall, you know what I'm saying, through the turmoil. Now, however, it was just funny because a few days ago, right, when you hearing all this fake internet slander, which I don't know, that bothered me, you know what I'm saying? We gonna stand on truth, and the truth hurts these people, you know. The truth, you know, for me is rest assuring, you know what I'm saying? Because I stand in the truth, you know, I'm not running from it, you know. I can look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, and be happy, you know what I'm saying, with the reflection of what I'm staring back at, because I know it's no smut, I know it's no ugliness, and I know it's no snakiness, you feel me, in my character whatsoever, you know what I'm saying. When it comes to integrity and morals and standing on business, now you gotta be snakes with the snakes, you know what I'm saying. That just is what it is when you're gonna allow yourself to be bitten, and we ain't doing that, we biting back. Now, me and Munchie, we had a situation, you know, I've been talked about this on the internet, so I was just thinking about the other day, man, probably about 15 years ago, man.
You guys can go back and find that. I'm not going to rehash any old conflicts or beefs between two people who have, you know, figured out whatever this they have to figure out. But the Young and Hefe Munchie B saga is a very interesting one. Should you want to investigate that on your own time, you could just search Munchie B, Young and Hefe beef, and I'm sure something will come up.
Back in this place right here, but on a different floor, 5,000 floor. I was in a dorm with like 10 60s or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Everything was everything, you know what I'm saying? The only 60, you know, that, you know, wanted to stir some stuff up and act like he had a problem was a guy named A.G. Beast, you know what I'm saying? And I addressed that problem. Now, however, Munchie B was across the way in the dorm next door, and he was over there, you know, with some other neighborhoods or whatever the case may be. squabble up or something like that. I'm like, what's going on? Like, he's like, man, you know, the neighborhoods, they next door, you know, they kill.
Now, here's the thing about this. Considering Munchie B's outward, admissions of distaste for the neighborhoods, who would think that the same person who, at his own admission, ran into the Marathon store and accosted Nipsey Hussle's father, or his friends accosted Nipsey Hussle's father, has all these other extremely inflammatory things to say about neighborhood Crips, who would think that these people would look at Munchie B and say, yep, I want to do something to you? Who would be shocked by that? Now, with that all being said, that just gives further reason and understanding to why Munchie B does have a distaste or does have a dislike for this individual group of people. So it's just kind of a back and forth 1-2 step like Sierra, if you ask me.
You know, trying to run him, but whatever the case may be.
This call is being recorded.
So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, me and my cousin, you know what I'm saying, we beelined over there, you feel me, to see what was going on, you feel me, and like I said, I already addressed this story, you know what I'm saying, so I've addressed it, Munchie B addressed it.
So basically the neighborhood Crips was running Munchie B in a manner that he deemed to be unfair. He put word out throughout the jail, and young and Hefe came to help Munchie B out, I guess, deal with the situation he had.
But however, long story short, you know, we went over there, you know, and made sure everything was everything, and people was just keeping it on the blackness, you feel me, and just, you know, wasn't trying to just out nobody because of them being deep, and that's a lot of stuff that goes on with all these cars in here, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what car it is, you know, whether it's gangster nature, you know what I'm saying? So I've addressed it much.
Hold on, let me rewind this real quick.
Be addressed it, but however, long story short, you know, we went over there, you know, and made sure everything was everything, and people was just keeping it on the blackness, you feel me, and just, you know, wasn't trying to just out nobody because of them being deep, and that's a lot of stuff that goes on with all these cars in here, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what car it is, you know, whether it's gangster, neighborhood, whoever.
See, I agree with what Young Gun Hefe is saying wholeheartedly, and I don't think that Young Gun Hefe has said anything wrong. However, one does wonder if Munchie B would allow the same level of understanding and empathy should he be in a situation where there are more of his constituents than his enemies. Based off conversations and based off statements in the past, historically speaking, if I had to take a bet, I would bet that Munchie B would not give empathy or sympathy towards any of his enemies should he catch them in a situation where he was in, where he looked for, the same level of fairness. So it just goes to say, in the gang world, fairness is dictated by who is in charge in that moment. Respect is dictated by who is in charge in that moment. And always understand that the politics are never one thing, and that is fair.
Got a lot of dudes who be busters, you feel me, straight up. Dudes be busters, but when dudes are with their homies, or dudes are deep, dudes want to act tough, you know what I'm saying? These same dudes, you feel me, when they by themselves, you know what I'm saying, they PUSSY cats, you know what I'm saying? Just like that, you feel me? Like, you even hear some of these situations with some of these names doing then stuff, and people can't believe it. Like, man, what? Who did what? He did? Oh, no. So that just be what it be. When dudes got the majority, they gonna try to show their ASS, you know what I'm saying? And some dudes just know how to stay poised, and stay humble and stay out the way and or act the same, you know what I'm saying, whether by themselves or whether, you know what I'm saying, with 30 or 40 people. Now, when I first heard Munchie say what he's saying, like I said, it kind of confused me because I'm like, man, firsthand, you know what I'm saying, that I don't have a problem, coming across nowhere, going snow at a tier to see what's what, you know what I'm saying? So, the situation with this guy has to be what it is. Like I said, you feel me? When I first heard about this situation, it had me, you know what I'm saying, pissed off. Like, what? Like, hold on, like, people tripping like that. Then once I got the story from all these different people, from different cars, it's like, you know what I'm saying, the proof, is in the pudding. Why would these people lie? People who's not enemies of his, don't have no problem with him, and people who are, potential allies on the street, you know what I'm saying, oh man, he did both, he did, buster activity. And as I said, for the 1000th time, you know what I'm saying, don't nobody, you know what I'm saying, get stabbed for no 30 minutes or get stabbed in here and ain't seen no.
Yeah, that's a long time to be accosted and not see any form of medical
or hospital. This dude is in a regular unit, you know what I'm saying? This dude is in a regular unit, and that's just how it go. I'm not here to try to make nobody understand who don't understand. If you come to jail and hey bro, you got a fade or you got two fades, and you turn it down, you basically, you know what I'm saying, did both, you know what I'm saying? So that opens the door, you know what I'm saying, for other things to happen, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that did happen, you feel me? That opens the door for that. And like I said, you can't even like go behind. You could go behind and try to clean it up, but it don't even make no sense for you to clean it up if, you know, your people didn't get cracking. In that scenario, the best thing for him to do was to get cracking, you know what I'm saying, and just take the little pack out or whatever, and, you know, send word, you know, and or, you know, we would have heard it, you know, dudes on the kill to be like, oh no, they did him wrong. It was on BS, you feel me, woo. And then from there, you know, let the chips fall where they may. It just would have been what it would have been, you know what I'm saying, on everything. That's just how that go right there, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, Munchie B, he know, you know what I'm saying, he's been somebody that's been in the county with me. I didn't get a chance to listen to his whole segment, but, you know, shout out to him. You know, I trust, you know, he handled it with integrity and just, you know, gave his overall opinion, you know, of being somebody that's been in the county jail, you know what I'm saying, and who have been through scuffles and things themselves, man. That's one thing about me. Like, I'm going to stand on what needs to be stood on, you know what I'm saying? Like, in my olderness, you know, being humble, you know, not
This call is being recorded.
of the BS, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, back then, you know, like I said, 15 years ago, you know what I'm saying, 20 years ago was definitely way more wild and way more on the BS, you know what I'm saying, than I am now. Because it's just like, once you pass the tests of certain things, if you've been through certain institutions, you know what I'm saying, you don't repeat, you know what I'm saying, the same things, you know what I'm saying, like on everything. Like, it ain't for me to be moving like a kid or like a dude, you know what I'm saying, 15 and 20 years younger now. But
It's unfortunate, but it's true. Young Gun Hefe has done far too much jail time to be caught up in childlike behavior or childlike entities or antics. You know, blah, 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 blah. So I do agree with him for that. That's unfortunate that he's done that much jail time to know that. But I can respect the fact that he is, you know, doing his best to act in accordance with his age and his maturity.
like I said, in all the testament, we not allowing no disrespect, period. You know, if any disrespect is placed out there, you know what I'm saying, disrespect is going to be given. That's just how it go. I always tell you guys, the Bible tells you, you know what I'm saying, eye for an eye. You can be holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? Follow that Bible, go to church every Sunday, but that Bible still tells you eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? The higher power is letting you know, if disrespected, you know, stand your ground. And I'm going to always stand my ground, bro. It don't matter, you know, if outnumbered or whatever the case may be. You know, I'm gonna make it happen to where, you know, it's in my favor, you know, or, you know, I'm felt. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it's gonna be. I'm not gonna be nowhere, you know what I'm saying, PC'd up and or playing these games like I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? It's no comfort in being scared. So I'm not gonna be scared. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta meet the imminent, you know what I'm saying, danger or, you know, whatever lurks out there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how that's gonna go. So, you know, it's just funny to me, you know, although I'm not the first one to drop the content was already dropped, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I just came behind and, you know, put it out there because I am somebody that's on this tier and that was in the same module that he was in. But like I said, for the dudes who've been to the county jail and know what's going on, if y'all just listen to the phone calls he's having.
Yeah, that phone call was wild. The one with Whack and the one where they made him get on the phone and scream. That was crazy.
I know that a lot of this stuff is
And a lot of stuff that he's saying don't really make sense. I ain't gonna front.
lie, you know what I'm saying? It's a big lie, you feel me, to where, like, I don't even feel bad putting it out there because now he's on a phone call with this other dude and let this other dude place fake narratives out there. Oh, he set you up. Oh, you talked to him like he was supposed to pull you and all this, like, weak stuff, man. But check this out. In the county jail, everybody know, you feel me? Like, if nothing ain't wrong with you,
This call is being recorded.
they don't have no medical issues or anything like that. When they land in the mountains,
Where you land is where you land, and then you got to make it work from there.
you let them fight, you know what I'm saying? You let them get their fades out the way, and then you come pull them. And the cold part about it, he need to stand on business and just tell the truth that he knew getting pulled had nothing to do with me. I'm somebody who just came to jail, been in jail all of 30 days in, just got to this institution, and he went to visiting a day before this situation happened. He went to visiting with, you know, the guy who could have pulled him, you know what I'm saying, my homie, you know what I'm saying, the one that told me that he was here, you know what I'm saying, and ran into him at visiting. If he wanted to get pulled, that's who he should have gave his information to, you know what I'm saying, and he could have just took his face. And he could have got pulled if he wanted to got pulled.
but it wasn't great.
Back, and double back on this situation because, like I said, I seen this and the title that Munchie D placed out there.
All right, man. Make sure y'all show some love to young and Hefe as he continues to fight for his liberation. Red dots to the left. You know the rest. We go.
Carjack 100 here. If you need your transmission check, come on down to Carjack's. I'm your transmission expert.
I'm glad that you enjoyed that content. We heard the cries, we heard the complaints. Now we don't got no intro, but we do got an outro with the same information, man. Make sure that you are tapped in. Make sure you dropping comments. Make sure you dropping likes. Make sure you subscribing to everything we have going on here at TNN Trap News Network, because we will be giving away some more Chiliana once we hit that 40,000 membership, 40,000 subscriber, threshold. We're gonna make sure that we give y'all some Chiliana, man. So make sure that y'all stay tapped in. Make sure y'all stay looking out. Make sure y'all stay right here at TNN Trap News Network. The news you can use, the knowledge you're not finna get in nobody's college. Hit a like, hit a comment, hit a good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. We're gonna keep you updated on what's going on these YouTube streets. You already know the deal, man. If you enjoyed this content, throw the red dot to the left. You know the rest. We gone.
Hi, I'm Whack 100. When I'm not snitching on the internet, I'm snitching in real life for your own personal home security. Call 1-800-WACK-ATTACK. We're first, law enforcement second. Hey, I'm Adam22. Got an extra soul laying around? Be like Doughboy and Whack 100 and sell yours today. One soul equals a lot of clout.
Apollo Texas.
It's dangerous. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Work all in the floorboard. Tell the ops, check the scoreboard. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. And if you shoot, you ain't miss. A nigga ball like game 6. A nigga ball like game 6.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Mix it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
Game 60 bands on my neck when I got it on me. And I remember I was broke, I never let them hold me. Final seconds with my back against the wall, 81 points strong with this K, I call it Kobe. Running through this lettuce, nothing you can tell us. Gotta watch my back, I know that they get jealous. Real shit, I got rich, ain't gotta embellish. Real life made men, they call us good fellas. And I ain't got anxiety, I know it's intuition. May never love a bitch, but I for sure play my position. I know the streets talking, I'm cracking, so I ain't tripping. I said I play for keeps, but I guess them niggas ain't listening. Sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. Nah, you can't come outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Mix it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
I've been winning, tell my ops check the scoreboard. Money in the attic, work all in the floorboard. Late night, that's the life that we pray for. Overtime with the pack is what we in the game for. Put myself in the game and everything is just a memory. Just made a couple plays for the pain, not an enemy. Gotta watch my friends more, I gotta watch the enemies. Friends is hella fake, I know what enemies' intentions. I let it go until it click if I'm aiming. Started staying safe and ended up staying dangerous. Game on the line, see the pressure I can take. Hall of Fame shit, so if it's mine, I'ma take. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Niggas shoot like Curry, and I can't miss. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous.
You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Mix it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. You can't come outside when it's dangerous. Gotta get the blicky when it's dangerous. Young niggas, we done came from Nathan. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Thought we would stop, we just can't quit. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6. Mix it with the bullshit, you can save it. Ballin' like us niggas up in game 6.
sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Shoot like Curry and I can't miss. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas always inside when it's dangerous. Shoot like Curry and I can't miss. Niggas sick like Jordan, call it game 6. Niggas never outside when it's dangerous. You niggas never outside when it's dangerous.